My name is Hanako and I'm the host of the Lunar System. Sorry. Okay. It's been brought to my attention that a certain person okay. I have never done a video like this before, so I'm a tiny bit unorganized and nervous about this. But apparently someone called Matt Walsh talked about asexuality. And as you know, this channel is called Nerdy Ambient Ace because I am asexual. I am on the spectrum, and I don't want to specify where exactly, just it's a spectrum, I'm on there. And so I was curious what he had to say about it. And all I know about him is that apparently he's very conservative. But other than that, I know close to nothing. I only have ever heard about him or seen stuff from him from other commentary channels like the Queer Kiwi or... Damn it, I forgot what the name of the channel was. Oh my god, it's such a good channel. If I remember, I will put it here. And I know that they too have said something about him talking about asexuality, and I have not watched that yet, so that I can go into this completely, not knowing what is going on. I want to say unbiased, but again, I think I know kinda where he's on the political spectrum, but that's all. So this is my bias. The video he made is called Stop Glorifying Asexuality, which is already, okay, I don't want to make too many assumptions, but let's start with that. Let's start with that title. It's, of course, a very provocative title, and a very unrealistic one, if you ask me, because I cannot see anywhere that asexuality is glorified. If at all, we often see that asexual people feel lost even within the LGBTQIA plus community, because often it's about being proud of your sexuality and it's okay to express that, but asexuality is the lack thereof. Like, you don't feel, again, it's a spectrum and this is very much simplified, but you don't feel sexually attractive to anyone. So sometimes we can feel lost even within this queer community, which we are very much part of. I don't know where he gets the idea from that it's glorified in a way, but maybe he elaborates in the video. So let's just watch this video together and see what he has to say. I'm curious. That's probably a good way to put it. Oh my god. Sorry, this beginning already, like with the ace flag and then cancelled. I'm sorry, isn't it usually conservatives that are really against cancel culture? And being like, oh, cancel culture, you can't say anything anymore. It's funny. Funny to me. Also, if you want to ask, if you're asking me where my stance on cancel culture is, I don't believe in cancel culture per se, rather in accountability culture, like we should hold people accountable for their actions. But again, I'm not the most educated on the topic right now. Just to give context. I'm worried about how... okay, let's just dive into it.
Today is Valentine's Day, in case you didn't realize. In fact, if you're a man listening to this and you just remembered what day it is, don't panic. There's still time to run to the store on the way home from work, pick up a gift. Most of the cards and flowers probably been picked over by now, but fortunately, I've always found that the pots and pans and kitchen utensil aisle of the grocery store is well stocked around Valentine's.
Okay, strong start. Sprinkling in some little bit of sexism, I would say. Because, yeah, obviously women could wish for nothing more than pots and pans. And it's always the man who must be giving gifts, and they're always too inconsiderate and forget about anniversaries and holidays. Sure. Okay, I don't want to comment on that too much because it would lengthen this video unnecessarily and stray away from what I actually want to talk about. Just not an introduction that would make me very sympathetic towards this person. But it provides a nice little context on, I guess, where he sees society.
Valentine's Day, so grab a box of forks, a spatula, maybe a new spaghetti strainer if you really want to spoil her. Throw them in a gift bag. You're going to have a very happy wife. And I'm willing to bet a romantic evening as well. Take my word for it. But of course...
Of course! Because all relationships are transactional, right? Like you give her a gift and therefore she gives you her... This is already making me mad. Ugh, okay. We are 30 seconds in. Okay.
Not everyone is interested in romance, and
yes.
For some, even a brand new non-stick frying pan wouldn't be enough to pique their romantic interest.
Again with this transactional. Why? Like, are the cis straight people okay? I have to ask that. What is going on? Oh, okay.
This is the so-called asexual and aromantic community. Unfortunately, they are the ones that the Washington Post is thinking about on Valentine's Day. This weekend, WAPO published a piece written by a woman named Samantha Sherry, and it was titled, quote, "How Asexual and Aromantic People Make Valentine's Day Their Own." Now, the article begins by telling us about a 37-year-old person who goes by the name Odell Pax, and the Post reports this. Odell Pax identifies as both asexual and idem-romantic, which means that she does not have any desire for sex and she doesn't make any distinction between romantic and platonic feelings. So what to do with a holiday that assumes romantic and sexual attraction are the norm? This year, she's doing what she usually does on February 14th, making time for self-love and self-care. For her, that means soaking in a hot bath before curling up in bed with her three stuffed animals, Findle, Marcia, and Sylvia. The last two names are named after trailblazing trans activists Marcia P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera.
Now, before he says anything about this, I must say I love this. That's nice. That's nice. And you see, well, I very much appreciate the fact that ace and aromantic, like asexual people and aromantic people get more seen, and that it's brought attention to that. You notice that we don't go out of our way to impose this, like people like to claim. Like, it's... Oh my god. I'm sorry. Collecting myself. Like in this article, she was asked what she does in this day. I assume the pronouns are she, her. If I, for some reason, got that wrong, I'm sorry. But she was asked, and she was just like, oh yeah, I'm just... self-care, self-love, that's beautiful things. She's not going out of their way being like, oh yeah, and you should do that too. You notice? Like, okay. And honestly, the fact with the plushies, loving this. I just get the 3 emotional support units. I ordered 3 from the Click and I love them. Okay, let's continue because otherwise we will never get through with this video. I feel like he's not gonna like what she said. Well, I think this sounds very nice, but okay.
Yes, why not?
Yeah,
I mean, why not
not
tell us the names of this grown adult stuffed animals? And if that's not enough, we're also treated to...
He has a problem with the fact that adults have stuff, have plushies. I should have seen this coming, and somehow I didn't. I'm disappointed in myself. Look at this. Why would you not want to have this? This is adorable, and it helps me with my anxiety. And yes, even though, oh my god, I just realized he would probably have such a problem with the way I'm dressed. Like, I'm an adult, but I like colorful things. That's okay. Okay, shh. We're calming down. There is no problem here to be said. Everyone can have plushies. It won't harm anyone. I can't believe I have to say this, but having plushies is okay and normal because they are adorable. And it's nice to cuddle something.
A picture of Odell with the stuffed animals, along with this caption. This is the caption under the picture. It says, Odell Pax with her 3 dolphin stuffed animals, Sylvia, Findle, and Marcia, from left to right. It's a very good thing they specified from left to right, because otherwise we wouldn't know for sure which stuffed animal is named Marcia and which one is Sylvia. So now...
Why does it bother you so much? If you don't like it, then read the article. Why does it bother you that they say, hey, she has plushies and here's what they're called? Who does it harm? Why are you offended by that?
We know, and we can sleep easy tonight. Sleep easy, anyway, with the somewhat cruel satisfaction we all sometimes experience after seeing someone else's utterly pathetic and depressing life and feeling deeply relieved that it's not our own life. I try...
What? I'm sorry. What? Okay, look. If you're not asexual, that's cool. Don't be. It's fine. But if you don't like plushies, okay, red flag, but okay. Don't like plushies. I don't care. Where do you take the right from to judge someone else's life so harshly just because it's not the life you want to live? Like, cool. Do what you want in life as long as it's consensual, not harming anyone. Owning plushies and not having a romantic or sexual partner doesn't harm anyone. Why? Where do you take the right from to judge someone? I don't get it. Like, maybe, okay, look, I'm someone with social anxiety, and I am scared because I think people are constantly judging me to come off as judgy and judging someone else, especially if I don't know something about a topic. So what will I do? I inform myself, and until I know something about that topic, I shut up because I don't know something. Like, it's not that hard, and especially when it comes to personal taste. Like, I can say my favorite color is yellow. Now, if you say your favorite color is red, I'm not gonna be mad at you. Like, if you say your favorite color is red because it looks so nice when the blood drains from someone else's body, then we have a problem, okay? Then I suspect you are a murderer, and that would make me very concerned. But if you just say your favorite color is red because you like flowers or for literally no reason at all, why should I get mad at you for that? Why is he so patronizing? Oh God, people have the nerve.
Not to delight in the misfortune of others, and I don't delight.
To delight in the misfortune of others. Because she does not have a sexual partner and owns plushies. That is someone else's misfortune, and you... Conservatives piss me off. Just... Okay, let's continue.
All in Odell's misfortunes, I don't. But I will admit that when I read this article and I see that picture, I can't help but think to myself, my God, I am glad I'm not that person. Anyway, here's more from the Washington Post. It says, Pax is not alone in rejecting the notion that relationships acknowledged on February 14th have to include romance and sex. Roughly 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual Americans are asexual, according to a study from the Williams Institute at the University of California, Los Angeles. Although experts such as Jennifer Pollitt, Assistant Director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at Temple University in Philadelphia, believe the population is undercounted and its influence underestimated because of a lack of awareness. Sexual intimacy is often placed on a pedestal to sell products, especially for Valentine's Day, Pollitt said, but love without romance or sex is just as...
Really quickly, yes. Like, I hate when, especially conservatives, be like, oh, but like the gay people pushing their sexuality or just... Have you seen the advertisements for literally anything? Not even just on and around Valentine's Day, but like every time of the year. It is so sexualized. It is mostly women And like, who is pushing the sexuality onto who? I'm okay.
Valid and fulfilling for asexual and aromantic people. As more people understand that, there will be more support for people exploring their relationship wants, hopes, and needs.
And that's a
In the
good
meantime,
thing.
many people on the A spectrum, also known as aspec or aspec, an umbrella term for anyone who identifies as asexual and aromantic, are finding creative ways to define the holiday on their own terms. Now, the article does continue providing along the way more examples and anecdotes of asexual and aromantic people celebrating Valentine's Day, but I think we've probably already heard quite enough.
You think we've probably... Okay, look. Why do you assume that just from the first few paragraphs of an article you can make a judgment? Why do you assume you can judge someone else's way of life when you're not even familiar with how it looks like? Because what I've gathered now is that he read, and obviously I don't know, maybe he has read the whole article and just said for the sake of the video, only this section is important. But from what I've gathered now, he read this first part of the article that basically introduced, hey, this person is asexual and they don't want to celebrate, like, they don't have a sexual partner on Valentine's Day. And hey, there's this whole group of people who share that opinion and find other ways to do that. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that first part of the article. And if you are, however, a person that for some reason is concerned when reading that, which, why? But okay, let's assume you are concerned. Wouldn't the next logical step be to look at the ways asexuals celebrate Valentine's Day or have relationships so that you can see, hey, probably, most likely, they're just what the person said at the beginning, practicing self-love, self-care, being happy without hurting anyone else, and then you should be fine. Like, that's the line where you'd be like, okay, so it's none of my business. It works for them. Maybe it doesn't work for me, but that's okay. However, I have the feeling that he will not share that opinion and he has a problem with this. Let's listen to what the problem is.
We've heard, for example, this sentence. Again, roughly 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual Americans are asexual. Now let's think about that. Bisexual Americans are asexual. That is exactly like saying that 1% of polytheistic people are atheistic. Or that 1%...
He's mad about the wording. Okay, look. I get it that some people are bothered by wording or when things don't make sense. That's okay. That's okay. But you're missing the point. Also, yes, a lot of these words are newer, so they don't have been generalized yet. For example, I thought at the beginning, when I was figuring out my sexuality, that polysexual would be the umbrella term for everything that means attracted to not just one gender, which would make sense. However, it is more commonly that people use bisexual for that, which just by the words alone doesn't make as much sense for me personally, again. But this is where you have to realize that it's not necessarily just about what the words mean or where they come from, and more about what meaning do we give them in a cultural and a societal context. And most of these labels in the queer community are either not set in stone, and the definitions can vary a bit of who you ask, or they can be used for multiple purposes because they have not been around as long, and they have not been established for as long and used by as many people. And as time moves on, language develops with us. And I get how that sentence could be confusing to some. And there is no, like, if you're confused by that sentence, that is okay. So what I'm just trying to explain is that these words like bisexual and asexual can have in this context, like, I don't want to say multiple meanings because that could be perceived wrong, but I think you can can identify with multiple labels. And then it's okay to ask, being like, okay, why do you choose bisexual and asexual as a label, even though they seem contradicting? And someone might say, first of all, maybe they are on the asexual, like it's a spectrum. So you can be gray sexual, which means you only feel romantic attraction very rarely. But then the question is, who do you feel attracted to? And then you say, oh, I'm bisexual. So I'm attracted to both men and women, but only in very rare cases. So it's like you're measuring 3 different types of attractions. There is the sexual attraction to whom you are attracted to, there is the level of sexual attraction, and then there is romantic attraction. And here too, you can have the level of romantic attraction and whom you are actually attracted to. And I get that this is all very confusing for someone who just started to learn about this. But this is the thing, if you actually talk to the people and actually make an effort to learn about it, you will be able to understand it. At least to me, it's very logical. But I don't see him making the effort rather than trying to find logical fallacies like in the article and then twisting the words so that he can use it for his own point. Now, obviously, this is just my interpretation of what he's doing. This is how I perceive it, and I could be wrong. He could be genuinely confused. But in that case, I ask you, please listen. Please listen to the people affected and realize that it's really not that big of a deal. And it's okay. We just want to live our own lives. Yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Of empathetic people are apathetic. You cannot be something and also the negation of that thing at the same time.
It's a
if somebody is
spectrum.
sexually attracted to 2 sexes or sexually attracted to the same sex.
I said it before, it's a spectrum. Yes, if you are on the asexual spectrum where you completely don't want to have any sexual relationships, you probably won't call yourself bisexual as well. Because yes, that would, at least in most cases, be a contradiction. But it's a spectrum. I'm fine, I'm calm.
That means they do experience sexual attraction,
Yes.
which would seem to preclude them from claiming the
Sometimes.
title of asexual.
No!
But then again, we must remember the first rule of the LGBT cult, which is that they can make it up all as they go along.
The LGBTQ cult? Oh my god! And no, we're not making things up as we go along. We're finding better words for the things that have always existed. Okay.
And nothing they say has to comport with anything else they say.
No!
And they must never be held to even the most basic standard of coherence.
No, nobody
That's why
says
any
that.
attempt to nail down a definition of what qualifies as asexual or aromantic will ultimately wind up as fruitless as any attempt to get anyone on the left to give a definition of literally any other word they use.
Oh, shh. No one says that. Words have definitions. But sometimes language fails us because it's just a tool we use to communicate. If I ask you to define an apple, you will see that it gets difficult after a while. You could say, oh yeah, it's a fruit and it's red. Let's start with that. Not every apple is red. Okay, it's a fruit with like skin, but what about other fruits? Like, words fail us sometimes. This is why we try to constantly improve our communication and figure things out that work. This is why it's useless. Oh gosh, okay. Regardless of that, definitions exist. So there are definitions for these words. But sometimes, and again, they haven't been around for that long. They're insufficient with actual reality and the experience we have. So over time, we improve on that. Over time, we find better words and better ways to describe it. But again, I think these words he's complaining about are already very well defined. Asexuality is a spectrum. Some people experience some level of sexual attraction on that spectrum, others don't. It depends where you are on it. It's not a contradiction. He obviously did not take the time to look into that. And then this whole jab at the left, like, people on the left side of the political spectrum know what the words are they are using. You are the ones not understanding. Like, just because you don't put in the effort to educate yourself on things like transgender and everything, doesn't mean that other people don't know what it is. Just because you only know basic fifth grade biology doesn't mean that other people have not studied it further, have not done their research on the internet. Just because you don't know a word doesn't mean that other people don't either. Okay. No, I won't let him make any advertisements on my channel. Forget it. Remind me to never buy this product simply because they collaborated with him. I won't show it because that'd be mean, but you get it.
Prove my point. Here's the Cambridge University website attempting to delineate between these two categories of asexual and aromantic. This is what it says. Asexuality is an orientation defined by a lack of sexual attraction. That means that an asexual or ace person experiences little or no sexual draw towards others and has little or no desire to have sexual relationships with other people. However, the asexual spectrum has many nuanced identities that fall under the umbrella term asexual. Some of the more common ones are gray sexuality or gray asexuality, where someone experiences sexual attraction rarely or infrequently. Another common identity is demisexuality or demi-asexuality, where someone only experiences sexual attraction after forming a close emotional or romantic bond with another person. There are many other identities on the ace spectrum, but what they all have in common is the lack, to varying extents, of sexual attraction. Aromanticism, on the other hand, is an orientation characterized by a lack of romantic attraction. While asexuality is a sexual orientation, aromanticism is a romantic orientation, and the two don't necessarily correlate. Someone may be asexual but not aromantic, or vice versa, or they may be on both spectrums. An aromantic or aro person experiences little to no romantic attraction towards other people and has little or no desire to form a romantic relationship with anybody else. Like asexuality, aromanticism is a spectrum which includes gray romanticism or gray aromanticism, where someone occasionally or rarely experiences romantic attraction, and demi-romanticism or demi-aromanticism, where someone only experiences romantic attraction after forming a strong emotional bond with another person. Aromanticism is considered an umbrella term that encompasses all the identities that fall on the aromantic spectrum.
Now, to me, that was very coherent and made a lot of sense. What is the problem? We're gonna find out in a second, but just overall, thank you for giving us this very coherent, I think, easy to understand definition of the terms. Like it's like how autism is a spectrum. It's a spectrum and that's okay. There will be varying. It's okay. We'll see what he didn't understand about it.
Make sense now?
Yes.
Now, there's a lot going on here. Actually, let me amend that. There is nothing going on here. This is a whole lot of nothing, which is trying to sound like something. It's a
Just because you refuse to understand it, because you build walls around your ignorant brain, doesn't mean that other people do not have the capacity to understand it. This is not a big nothing. It literally told you what this is.
Of narcissistic, fart-sniffing mumbo-jumbo dressed up to sound complex and nuanced.
Sorry? What? It would be funny if it wouldn't be so sad. Look, I'm sitting here doing my best to stay calm. Not quite managing this because this is honestly infuriating. But the thing is, I criticize his ideas. I criticize what he's doing and how he's going about it. I'm calling him ignorant because, quite frankly, that's what he is. He refuses to educate himself about this topic, so I think he's ignorant. However, I'm not attacking him as a person. I'm not throwing and hurling insults at him because why would I do that? I can criticize ideas, I can criticize actions, but in the end, why would I attack someone's personhood? Like, and yet he thinks it's completely fine to call us, what was it again?
Sound like something. It's a bunch of narcissistic, fart-sniffing mumbo-jumbo dressed up to sound complex.
Right, narcissistic and for its like these are insults that are kindergarten level. And why? And also is he really gonna call asexual people or people who try to define asexuality narcissistic? Well, he sits here completely infuriated and bothered by someone else's lifestyle that doesn't impact him at all. You can still celebrate your freaking Valentine's Day and you can still do whatever the fuck you want. But you're bothered because someone else uses the same freedoms you have to do what they want. And oh my god. Okay. Moving on, because otherwise I will never get through with this.
And nuanced, when in fact all the complexities and nuances are just varying degrees of self-contradiction.
No! No. Some people really don't understand nuance or to differentiate between things. Look, life is complicated. People are complicated. Humans, societies, cultures, identities are the most faceted, complex things I have ever seen. So of course, there will be lots and lots of gray areas. In fact, I would go so far to say that nothing in life is black and white. Yet, people like that want to push this idea, or at least that's what I'm seeing. That's how I'm perceiving it. This black and white thinking of you have the binary. And it's not like that. Look into the nature. Okay, look outside. Touch the grass. Touch the grass, my dude. It's not even just human complexity. That's already very complex. But even if you look at the animal kingdom, there are so many varying degrees of sexuality, so many different kinds of sex, and I mean the biological sex that's already in. It's varying so greatly. There are so many gray areas, and it's beautiful like that, because if you actually look at it, gray is just an analogy. In fact, they are beautiful, colorful, and so many varieties of it. And you're gonna tell me, no, that's all not real? Look, it's all the binary. Why? Why deny all this beauty in the world and say this whole complex structures is in fact not there? Why force it into these little boxes? The human experience is wonderful because it's complex, because it's various, because there is no black and white thinking. Well, there's no black and white, there is black and white thinking, as displayed here. Why can you not appreciate that there are so many different things?
There's actually no meaningful distinction between sexual attraction and romantic attraction. The two.
Oh my freaking god, yes! Yes, there is a meaningful distinction. Just because you only view, as we saw at the very beginning of this video, relationships as transactional and therefore relying on sex and sexual attraction, doesn't mean everyone else is the same. People can enjoy the romantic side of their partner, and the man doesn't have to be romantic to win over the woman's right to her body. That's not how it works. That's not how it should work. Relationships are not transactional. Sexual attraction and romantic attraction are different things. And that's okay, and that's a good thing. Like, we can enjoy each other's company in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic, aesthetic, a skill-based attraction. There is so much, and you're gonna tell me, no, it's all just one and the same thing, and we all, like, if I'm biologically female, I have to like someone who's biologically male, and everything else doesn't make sense in your little brain? We will never get finished with this because I'm getting way too frustrated.
Terms are synonyms. If a person told you that they were romantically attracted to you, but not sexually attracted, They will have given you no useful information about their feelings towards you.
They have given you the information, hey, I like you. However, I don't want to sleep with you. That is valuable information. They have given you the information of, hey, I would love to maybe go on dates or hold hands or just have a movie night together. I would love to kiss you perhaps even. But I don't want to be physically intimate with you. And this can still be a very fulfilling, wonderful relationship. They have given you the information of, I value your company, I like you, not just platonically, and I say just, which I also find very ridiculous. Platonic attraction and platonic relationships can be just as valuable as romantic and sexual relationships. They have specified how they feel about you, and you don't think that's valuable information?
They will, however, have given you useful information about the tedious inner workings of their own inane and pretentious minds. As for demi-aromanticism, or someone who feels romantic attraction, especially after forming a strong emotional bond, well, that is simply called being a person. I mean, it's more common that a woman's romantic attractions hinges on an emotional connection.
No, again with the sexism. Okay, I can see how demi-romanticism can be confusing. I understand that, but think about it like that. For some people, you have the trope, friends to lovers. That can be demi-romanticism, or it can be just a natural development of the feelings in the relationship. Other people, however, find someone they look at either sexually or aesthetically attractive and don't really go into the relationship with the attention of platonic feelings, but rather they want to pursue a romantic relationship from the get-go. Now, I think a certain level of friendship is always healthy for every relationship, but that's just my personal view. And I'm just saying, in this sense, demi-romanticism can be confusing. I get that, especially when it comes to romantic and not sexual attraction. But it's not as confusing as he makes it out to be. No, not everyone is demi-romantic. I'm sure, and that's also a trope we see often in movies, some people fall in love very easily. And don't confuse love at first sight for romantic attraction. That's not what I mean, because how would that work? You don't even know the person. But still, there are people who fall in love with a person easier, quicker than others. And some of these others who might need a long time or a very, and this is the key element, right? They need a strong friendship or some kind of other emotional connection beforehand. That is demi-romanticism. I hope I could clear this up. If anyone of you is demi-romantic and wants to correct me on this, please tell me in the comments. Just let's move on.
For men or women, this is a rather normal way for things to work.
Yes, it is
so
normal.
Here we see
for some
again how
people.
the LGBT cult, not satisfied to legitimize every degraded fetish they can find, has now...
Why are you so patronizing about something you have no idea of? Every degraded fetish? Way to king shame, my dude. Like, and no, sexual attraction or romantic attraction is not a fetish. Wanting to have a strong emotional bond with someone is not a fetish. Like, how? Okay.
its sight on fetishizing even what's normal and healthy.
We are not fetishizing anything. You are. You are the one saying, oh, calling a demi-romantic fetishizing. No one else says that. Why would we? We are so far off the discussion right now. Are we living in the same reality here? How is this fetch? Literally, this dude must think that everything where we put the label on LGBTQIA+, or a rainbow flag, is automatically fetish. Gross. No. Like, we're talking literally about asexuality, and you're gonna tell me it's a fetish. Oh my god.
This is a trick they get away with because, as it turns out, plenty of otherwise normal and healthy people want to be members of the cult. The best way to rack up social capital is to claim membership in the Alphabet Club. That's because LGBT people in the modern United States.
The best way to... Is he saying that being LGBTQIA will help you climb the social ladders? Because I beg you, go outside! We have... People in the LGBTQIA plus community have been discriminated against for hundreds of years. And they are still today. Look at American lawmakers. The lawmakers you probably support. They are trying to ban trans rights. They are trying, some even try, to make gay marriage illegal again. And you're gonna tell me we benefit from being part of this community? I'm gonna say we benefit from this sense of community, from supporting each other, from being strong for one another and standing up as one. That's what we're benefiting from. But socially, it is absolutely no advantage to be anywhere as part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Just like it's in most cultural circumstances not an advantage to be a woman. There is still... What's your privilege? Oh my god! How can you... These people literally think that white cis men are the most discriminated against. I'm sorry, you're not. Oh my god.
States are not only not oppressed, but are in fact the least oppressed people to have ever walked the face of the planet.
He literally said it. Like, okay, before that was assumptions and implied, but he literally said, we are the least oppressed people to have ever walked the earth. I can't. He can't be serious. He cannot be serious. Look, I wouldn't travel to America right now because I'm scared for my life over there. People, trans kids, families with trans kids are moving states because the potential laws that are made in these states threaten their kids' life. And you're telling me that the LGBTQIA plus community is the least oppressed community on Earth. In what fucking reality do you live? Because it's not mine. It's not anyone's. Like, how? Oh my god, what kind of bubble do you live in that it's so absolutely not transparent anymore, that you can't look outside anymore? Have you ever left the house or watched actual news? Not Fox News, actual news. Perhaps even better, get them from TikTok, where they're not as, like, no. I don't want to get in that discussion now. I can't believe this. This is a completely new degree of delusional I have ever witnessed.
But what about actual asexual people?
Yeah.
How should we understand those
Actual.
people who really don't experience sexual attraction and who therefore can validly claim the label of asexual?
Validly? Who are you to decide who is valid? Why do you have the right to tell me how valid I am in my identity? Also, if he says now, if the next thing that comes out of his mouth is that asexuality is a mental illness, I'm gonna punch him. I have actual mental illnesses, and this is not one of them. It's, oh my god.
Well, I think there are a few things to keep in mind about this group. First of all, I'm extremely skeptical that most of the people that claim to be asexual are actually asexual.
Of course,
Okay, because somebody with a low sex drive.
Because you can tell us who is valid, because you are not just a biologist, you are a sociologist and all that other good stuff, that you can look at someone and be like, ah yeah, they are valid in their identity. they are actually asexual because you know them so well. Fuck you.
It is not asexual. Someone who doesn't desire romantic relationships is not asexual. Keep in mind the left will always do everything it can to inflate the statistics for any of the...
Oh my god, you're right, dude. Someone who doesn't desire romantic relationships is not asexual. They are aromantic, and those don't necessarily correlate with one another. You got something right. Applause for you.
identity groups that it invents. That's why the leftist group, the Trevor Project, has a page on its website with information about asexuals where they stipulate that asexual people might still, quote, fall in love, experience arousal and orgasm.
Oh my god, could they fall in love because they are asexual and not aromantic? Also, obviously, aromantic is a spectrum, so aromantic people can still fall in love. And oh my god, can you imagine that asexuality does not exclude having like personal fun time and not with others? Could you imagine? No, because attraction is always...
Masturbate and engage in
Yes.
sexual activity.
Yes.
In other words, lots of people they call asexual are not at all, in any definitional sense of the term, really asexual.
No! Okay, look, let me give an example. And this is a bad example, but maybe he'll understand. What if, let's say you're vegetarian, and one day you accidentally, or of your own free will, completely fine, one day you eat meat. And you realize you don't like it actually, you don't like the taste, and then you go back to being vegetarian. Would that mean, because of that one time you ate meat, that you are not actually vegetarian? And now, vegetarianism is a choice. Asexuality is not. That's why I said it's a bad example. But, okay, he obviously doesn't understand what being on a spectrum means. So let's skip over this whole thing that would be connected to that. Asexual people, if they are not repulsed, again, oh god, I'm sorry, it's the spectrum, I don't know if you understand. Okay, but if they're not repulsed by the action, might do it for their partner's benefit, or because they find other parts of sex fun or engaging. It does not have to be, like, I want to bash my head into a wall. This is frustrating. And no, just because you had sex once in your life, or even if you continue to have sex, doesn't mean you're invalid as an asexual. Every ace people out there, don't listen to him. You are valid. We see you, we accept you, I'm one of you, and it's okay. Right? It's okay.
Most of them are simply just selfish, lonely, depressed people with...
Selfish, lonely, and depressed. I mean, I'm going with the depressed stuff, I'll be honest. But no! Oh. You are selfish for denying me sex, by the way. Yes, you are selfish for that. You are selfish because you don't want to bring another child into this fucked up world. That's why you're selfish. I mean, I beg your pardon? What? I'm selfish because I don't want to sleep with you? This is a new level of entitlement? And someone needs to teach that dude about enthusiastic consent desperately. Like, what the fuck?
Relatively normal libidos who have chosen asexuality as their identity
Chosen.
in order to give some meaning to their self-centered existence. Like most trendy modern identity groups, this one is, for the most part, just a cover for narcissism.
I want to cry. I want to cry. This is so bad. Is he... First of all, this whole new trendy identity groups, no. Asexual people, non-binary people, transgender people, they have all been around for ages. So many cultures had them as a completely normal part of their culture. And then, you know, Christianity came and... Yes. Regardless. These things have existed for centuries, for millennia, like for as long as humans existed, and even longer because, Oh my god, there are animals that are asexual and gay and whatever not. But regardless, it has existed for a very long time. And now we find the language to express ourselves. That is a good thing. And then again with the narcissism? You think I'm narcissistic and selfish because I don't want to sleep with you. You think I'm narcissistic because I'm putting a label on I feel comfortable with. Look, I'm not asking anyone to tell me, oh wow, it's so brave that you came out. It's so brave. No, quite the opposite. I never came out. I just am. I am how I am on the internet, in real life. If someone asks me, I'll tell them, but I just am. I never came out. And it's completely up to every individual if they want to come out. We're not narcissistic. We don't ask for your applause or approval for that matter, because obviously you're not giving it to us and I don't care, quite frankly. What I do care about is the spread of blatant misinformation and the damage you do to these communities. That's what I care about. And it is so fucked up for you to sit here and say all this stuff and think it's okay.
It is a coping mechanism to cover up a character flaw, which is narcissism.
No! No, it's not. You're wrong. You're factually wrong. Please, educate yourself.
But assuming that there does exist a collection of people who truly, and through no fault of their own, have no sexual attraction, no desire for sex at all, no capacity for sexual arousal, etc., then we could say two things about this group. Number one, it's almost certainly very small. It's not going to be anywhere near 1% or even half of 1%. Number two, it's not an identity, least of all a sexual identity. If you truly lack the ability to experience sexual attraction, then something has likely gone awry physiologically. You have an issue that you might try to fix.
I knew it. I knew he would say it's a sickness, a disease. I could feel it coming. You know what the people also said was a disease? Perhaps you don't even believe it, Matt Walsh, whatever. Homosexuality. Newsflash, it's not. It's a normal part of the human experience to have individuals that are different from yourself. Really crazy thing. But this is normal. And it exists in every species. It's not a disease. And if it is in fact a disease, then I'm sorry, I will have to call in sick next week. I wish I could go to school, but I'm terribly sick with asexuality. And that is, as he said, a deeply rooted character flaw. Or I'm apparently sick with a narcissistic disorder? I've lost track.
Rather than making it into your whole personality.
Nobody makes it into their whole personality. Look at me. What is my personality? First of all, difficult question, and I have identity struggles, but aside from that, well, when I think about who I am, I will start with my pronouns and gender identity. I don't know, because it's like this, I started with my name, age, then gender and stuff, because, you kind of go on this list of general information, and then if you ask me what makes up me, I'll say, I'm chaotic. I love to talk, I love to interact with people, even though sometimes I get really anxious. I have ADHD, which, if people tell me, you're making ADHD your whole personality, I'm sorry, but it influenced literally every part of my personality. I'll say that I love writing, that I love creating for YouTube. And honestly, I probably won't even mention asexuality until someone asks me. Like, I'll maybe go like, and I'm in a polyamorous relationship, and I love the people in this relationship. Why should I mention? Nobody makes asexuality their whole personality. Some, and I think what he means, it could be wrong, but I think what he means is when he sees sketches about it online, on YouTube or on TikTok, that's not making it your whole personality, that's making content for a specific group of people. And if you don't belong to that group of people, you don't have to watch it.
Now, you shouldn't be ashamed. It's not your fault, but you also shouldn't make your inability to experience sexual attraction into the centerpiece of your identity as a human being.
No one does that.
Does it make sense to be proud of this inability? I mean, the only thing more bizarre than marching around and claiming to be proud of your sexual attraction is marching around and claiming to be proud of your lack of something.
The only thing more bizarre than being somehow appalled by someone else being attracted to the same gender is being appalled by someone who feels no sexual attraction and therefore doesn't bother anyone. That is bizarre. That is weird. Why are you doing this?
Sexual attraction. That's why today, on Valentine's Day, I will not cancel all asexuals. They have enough to do.
Oh, thank you so much. I was so afraid you would cancel me. Remind me again what would happen if all asexuals were banned from participating on the internet? Oh, right. They would still be asexual. Just not on the internet. The audacity these people have.
Both, especially on a day like today. Instead, I'm specifically canceling these flag-waving asexuals like those profiled by the Washington.
Right. Because I could think of nothing better on Valentine's Day than packing up my huge asexual flag, running to school and being like, you're discriminating against me because you all are in relationships and doing stuff with your partner. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. There was one article, perhaps there are more, but there was one article from the Washington Post who wanted to bring attention to people that are different from everyone else. That didn't take away from your right to express yourself and do whatever you want as long as it's consensual in your relationship on Valentine's Day. It didn't take away from your right to buy flowers, chocolates, or whatever for your woman in the hopes that she would give you her body later because for some reason that's how you think this whole thing works. It didn't take away from anything of you. You could still do and like what you did and liked before. It is okay. Asexuals getting a bit of attention will not suddenly destroy the life you know. I mean, at this point, what do you take us for? Gods? Because I'll take that title.
Those, especially the ones who have stuffed animals that they name. They are all today canceled. And that'll do it for this portion of the show. If you want to be...
This is Julia. I love her very much. She has the name of my ex-girlfriend, which... because... I should name my other emotional support demons some, prominent asexual people. Oh yeah, I know what? This one is Jaden now. This one is Jaden, after Jaden Animations, who inspired me a whole lot. I'm so sorry, guys. I probably shouldn't have posted this video since I was just now officially cancelled by Matt Walsh. How will I survive that? I have no idea. It's very critical. I'm trying to get my sense of identity back together after he insulted me so badly. God, this is pathetic. Okay, that was horrible. That was absolutely disgusting, horrifying. Who does he think he is? So, the verdict, conclusion, whatever. I'm still very much asexual. He was still very much ignorant and uninformed about everything he talked about. It was incredible how he could read out this dictionary definition, this explanation, and yet don't understand a single word from it. Truly astonishing. And overall, I'm frustrated now. Thank you for ruining my day. But aside from that, to all the people in my community, asexual or not, you are valid. You are seen and you are loved. And he cannot tell you how valid you are. The only one who knows you best and knows what label fits you is yourself. Don't let something like that ruin your day, which sounds hypocritical because I just did that. please don't be like him. If you don't know about something, that's okay. Educate yourself. There's always sources and people to talk to. And please, please, oh my god, look into the real world. Come outside your bubble. I know we all live in certain bubbles, and it's okay. There is a certain degree to it. But if your bubble is so dense and so untranslucent, like that you cannot even realize that people discriminate against the LGBTQIA community, then you have been in there for too long, and you need to get outside quickly. So now, I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. I'm so sorry for this very strange video, but I had to speak out about this. Bye!